In this video, we're going to construct a triangle using the given information. But before we proceed to the problem, I need to make sure that you understand the following. Now, the idea is as follows. If you have a circle, you know that from this, if you measure the distance from the center to any point on the circumference, that distance you get will be equal to the radius of the circle. So I'm using r to represent the radius. The length of any line drawn from the center to any point on the circumference is going to be equal to the radius of the circle. I mean, you think about it, if you want to draw a circle, all you have to do is pick a point, place the sharp end of your compass there, extend the other arm of the compass, and then you just pretty much draw a circle. Now, imagine, using that same idea, imagine you just have a line, and from one end of the line, you just pick one end of the line, place a compass that's been extended, place the metallic end of a compass that's been extended at one end of the line, and you draw an arc. So let me put it this way. Say we have a compass. I'm just going to give you a rough sketch. One end is the metallic end, and the other end is the pencil. So let's say you stretch the compass, so the pencil end of the compass in this direction. You can end up with something like this. This is a really bad, well, it's a rough sketch. And what I'm trying to stress here is that you have the pencil end and the metallic end, which is very sharp. Now, the distance between the two ends is going to be the radius of whatever circle you draw with the compass with this configuration. So with that in mind, if I call this point with the red dot x, if you have an extended compass and you draw an arc, or let's say you draw a complete arc, so in fact you draw a circle, you will see that, I mean, you know obviously that this point here, x, is the center of the circle. So the distance from point x to any point on the circumference is going to be equal to the radius, and that's going to be this distance here. So this is my rough sketch, but it's going to be equal to the radius, so this should be equal to that. So now let's start from this situation where you have a straight line, and then pick one end of the line. I call that end point x, and you take a compass that's extended so that it gives you a radius of r when you draw a circle, and we just draw an arc. Instead of drawing a complete circle like we did here, we just draw an arc. Now what I need you to understand is that the distance from this point x to any point on that arc is going to be equal to the radius of the circle, or the distance by which, I mean, the distance between the ends of the compass. Now that you understand that, we can now move on to actually solving the given problem. We're required to construct a triangle with sides of length 10 centimeters, 12 centimeters, and 17 centimeters. You know that a triangle has 3 sides, so we've been given the length of each side of the triangle we're required to construct. So to start with, we can just pick the first side. We know that the first side, I mean, one side must have a length of 10 centimeters. So we can just draw a straight line, and we'll draw a straight line whose length is 10 centimeters. So you can easily use a ruler to draw a straight line of length 10 centimeters. And that's easy. So this side has been sorted. We need to draw the remaining sides. So for the side of length 12 centimeters, how do we proceed? Well, if you think about it, you could draw a straight line whose length is 12 centimeters in that direction, or draw another one in this direction. We don't know which, or we don't know how to orient the next line. So in order to avoid any problems, what you do is you take your compass, extend it so that you have a radius of 12 centimeters, place the metal end here, and draw an arc. Just draw an arc. What we will have achieved is the following. From this point here, which I'm going to call X, any line from X to a point on this arc will be of length 12 centimeters. So one of these lines will be the line we desire for our triangle, will be one of the sides of the triangle, but we don't know which one. Now for the third side, we know that its length must be 17 centimeters. So I'm going to pick the metal end of the compass. We're going to extend the compass so that it gives us a radius of 17 centimeters. Then pick the metal end of the compass, place it at the other end, and draw another arc. I'll use a different color, let's say green. I'm going to draw another arc. So let's say we draw the arc and it's such that we get this. The point here is that if you draw, I call this point Y, if you draw a line from point Y to the green arc, any line from Y to any straight line from Y to the green arc, the length of that line will be 17 centimeters. So any of these lines could be the side of the triangle whose length is 17 centimeters, but we don't know which one. Well, the key thing here is the point of intersection of the two arcs, because if you draw a line from X to that point of intersection, because that point of intersection lies on this blue arc, you know that, let's call this point P. You know that the line XP is going to be of length 12 centimeters. And if you draw a straight line from Y to point P, you know that the line YP is going to be of length 17 centimeters. So we've satisfied what the question of the problem, we've satisfied the problem because we've been required to construct a triangle with sides of length 10 centimeters, 12 and 17. So that's the procedure. Draw a line with whose length is 10 centimeters, get our compass to give us a radius of 12 centimeters, draw an arc, go to the starting from this with the sharp end of the compass at one end point, then you go to the other end point, extend the compass so that it gives a radius of 17 centimeters, draw another arc, the point of intersection, call it P, and then you join the ends of that first line to the point of intersection to give the triangle. So try this with a piece of paper and a compass, a pencil and a ruler, and you see that it works.